guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So this Super Strike EZA Mecha Frieza just dropped on Global Dokkan recently. This character's been out for a few months on JP Dokkan, but I figured I would do a video since this guy just came out on Global. And he does now have access to a 200% leader skill, which he did not a while back, right? Mecha Frieza, of course, is on the 200% Wicked Bloodline leader skill, led by LR Metal Cooler. Frieza is on a couple of different 200% teams, but, I mean, for some reason, which I don't why is this guy not in Space Traveling Warriors? Right, like, Metal Cooler, Mecha Frieza, and Golden Frieza are not on Space Traveling Warriors for some reason. I don't know. You tell me. Do you know? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. Why are these characters not on Space Traveling Warriors? Who knows? But they're not. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at what Mecha Frieza's got for us. Oh, perfect. King Cold is lined up to be on the same rotation with Mecha Frieza. That's going to be basically his best friend. Because if you take a look at Mecha Frieza's links, actually, let me do it on the screen. There's a couple of kind of stinkers he's got in here. So the first link is Prodigies, right? That's, you know, Piccolo units, Vegeta, Frieza units, I believe have this. This is Mechanical No. Okay, the Dokkan Wiki and the game have a different order. This one is Bombardment, which a lot of Super Strike characters have. Shitty link, only 20% attack. It should really be like 25% attack and defense and 2 key. This is Universe's Most Malevolent attack link for Wicked Bloodline. Then this right here, this is Revival, a link where you can only get the full buff if we're below 50% HP, which is unfortunate. This is Mechanical Menaces, 2 key and 5% damage reduction, but like, look at this, dude. This is ridiculous. Like, why? Links like this are just such, like, it's like, you know, when Dokkan first started, it was completely different, right? You know, before link levels and stuff like this. After the link level update, links became just they already were important, but now they're just like so crucial. And then you just get like shit like this, right? Like Android 16 Arale, like you're not running Frieza on teams with these types of characters, right? Like I think both Mecha Frieza and Rildo, like these are characters that could get Dokkan Fest exclusives sometime down the line. I mean, again, you know, this year we had Raditz, Ginyu, and Pan got Dokkan Fest exclusives, right? So it's like, I think Rildo and Mecha Frieza would qualify as well. You know, maybe down the line, again, they could have those activated. This right here, this is Super Strike, 25% attack. So it's like these dumbass links, Bombardment and Super Strike, right? 45% attack between two pretty mid links right there. And then finally, Shattering the Limit, 2 key, 5% attack and defense. So, okay, sure, let's go ahead and see what we get right here on this opening rotation. So we have Universe's Most Malevolent and Shattering the Limit activated. Now, what are some of the basic stuff we should look at with this Frieza? So, he's at 111k defense right here. He gets 100% attack and defense when key is 6 or more. He gets another 100% attack and defense when key is 9 or more. Then he gets 50% attack and defense when key is 12. He also gets 50% attack and defense if the enemy's attack down. Another 100% defense when all allies attacking in the same turn are Wicked Bloodline characters. Then he also has a high chance to crit if the entire rotation is Revived Warriors. Then he gets 30% defense for 1 turn. Now, I believe a lot of these buffs, right, like the buff when key is 6 or more, 9 or more, 12 or more, I think these are not active right now, right? I think these are actually going to apply once he attacks. So, because of that, we're not really seeing how high his defense can get, but believe it or not, especially on Metal Cooler's 200% team, this is a character who's strong enough that we could, you know, he could do well against, like, Red Zone Final Form Cooler. The point to look at a lot of characters, right, is to look at them, can they perform in Red Zone with type advantage, is typically how I look at it, right? So, like, you know, the best characters in the game, you know, the recent Dokkan Fest TURs and premium units, right, they can be great in Red Zone, even neutral or even type disadvantage, right, if they're truly great. Like, I don't know, Gamma 2, right, can tank Cell Max, for example. But, like, a lot of characters, especially, like, this is a free-to-play unit, right? It matters how he's going to do against, the thing. Type advantage. Like, if he's got type advantage. And I think we could run this guy against, Omega Shenron. Red Zone Omega. We could run him against Red Zone Final Form Cooler. I think this Frieza will do, good enough. I also noticed I don't have any equips on this guy. I do have him with full additional, so I think we'll probably give him some equips. Some maybe lower level equips. Maybe I'll give him like an attack equip or something like that, or defense, something like that. Just get his stats up a little bit more when we try and max him out. So a 4 million attack set right there. He does also lower attack on a super attack effect, which certainly can be handy. In, you know, like a super battle road stage or something like that. I think Mecha Frieza, this guy is actually very decent. Some of these Super Strike EZAs are kind of, I don't know that I want to call them underrated, but I feel like they're potentially like, how do I want to say it, right? Like, not underrated, because I have seen a lot of people talk about this Mecha Frieza, more so like under the radar, I feel like might describe it a little bit better. Some of these characters can kind of fly under the radar. Now, one reason Mecha Frieza, I think, can perform so well, right, is he's just getting so many different defensive buffs. He's getting the defense from super attack effect. You guys know I am constantly talking about how important it is to get that defense from your super attack effect. It can be a huge deal, right? And these days, it's like if you've got a character that can get to like 500k defense, he can be pretty good. This is a very strong rotation. Actually, this is damn near a perfect rotation. We could do a little bit better than this in that we could get STR base form cooler. This exact rotation against multiple enemies with STR base form cooler, I think, would give us a better attack set for Frieza, but this is basically it, right? Because we have a lot of our big links activated. We don't have Prodigies, Revival, and Mechanical Menaces. Revival, you have to be under 50% HP to get stats anyway. Mechanical Menaces is 2 key and 5% damage reduction. Prodigies does give, you know, 15% attack, but this should be a pretty good turn. Let's see what Mecha Frieza does on this turn right here. What is the start of turn defense? It's at 123k. Again, I'm not really too sure, like, what the exact number falls into, but I believe he's above, like, he's 500k, 600k, 700k. I think he's somewhere in that range, right? Because, I mean, we're talking about, what? Right here, he's getting 300% defense. 100% at 6 key, 100% at 9 key, and then 50% at 12 key, and then 50% when the enemy's in attack down status, which they are because of King Cold. So, Mecha Frieza is still getting 300% defense to actually proc, right, like once he gets locked in and once the turn actually starts and he does the damage. So, Mecha Frieza, he can do some stuff, right? Now, keep in mind these, you know, higher stats he's getting. This is with, the, whatchamacallit, the 200% leader skill certainly helping, right? A lot of characters look, you know, even much stronger under the 200% leader skill, right? Like, that's a very common thing. Alright, so let's see what damage Mecha Frieza gets to right here. This is a particularly wanked situation. Yeah, 7.64. And again, I think on that rotation, like this type of rotation, which, you know, with King Cold, we're getting a lot of attack links. It's not like, you know, his defense is going through the moon because of King Cold, right? It's like Frieza has good defense, you know, provided that the entire rotation has Wicked Bloodline characters, but LR Metal Cooler's 200% is Wicked Bloodline characters only anyway. So Mecha Frieza, he's an option, right? Like, I already went through the full, you know, Red Zone no-item sweep with the Cooler teams. I could have used this Mecha Frieza, I think, for sure, against, you know, Omega Shenron or Final Form Cooler, right? It seems like he does good enough. He's decent. This guy can get to decent stats. It just goes to show, like, if you have a very cohesive team, right? Like, even a free-to-play character, I mean, they have to actually get the stats, but if they get the stats, they can be good, right? So, not bad. Alright, guys, let's get a couple of more rotations for our boy Mecha Frieza here. So, let's go ahead and see what we can get on this turn. We'll go ahead and do some damage to this Bojack. I do love this Bojack event. This Bojack event works really well for showcasing characters a lot. So this is a decent rotation. We are going to be getting 50% support from STR Cooler. We don't have much in terms of links, but, you know, the support from STR Cooler should work out rather well. Let me see this rotation, and then on this next turn, let's get Mecha Frieza next to both King Cold and STR Cooler, right? I think then our stats should look pretty well. 5.21 right there, right? Like, I feel like that's decent for what he is, just like one of these Super Strike EZAs. Like, if he was just a glass cannon with like 100k defense, sure, but like, he's got a decent enough defense. The problem with running characters, right, is just like, you know, oftentimes, like some of these, like, supports or, like, offensive glass cannon characters, it's like things are going great, and then they get caught once, and you instantly lose, right? But if you're running much more defensive characters, it's much harder to lose. It's much harder to get caught, right? And I would argue that a lot of the time, it is very difficult to not get caught at least once throughout one of these, like, long, difficult events, right? Like, it's definitely something that does happen. It does take place, right? So, that's why I like a character like this Mecha Frieza to at least get that decent defense, right? Like, if you're gonna fight Omega Shenron, STR Sin can catch him, of course, right? STR Sin oftentimes is very problematic for many characters in that Omega. Like, that's one of the real reasons the Omega fight is still, like, tough, is because Int Omega Shenron does just so much damage on his normals, right? It's very problematic to deal with. So you want to bring physical characters to handle that, but then you have to go through that STR phase, and, you know, depending upon where he super attacks, run is over. I've had many, many runs ended by that STR Sin Shenron supering in the second slot, right? It's something that happens quite often. Okay, so right here, we will have Frieza's full passive built up, right? The enemies have the attack down. We're going to have Frieza with his full ki and all that. So we should be able to see Frieza put up, is he going to break 8 million right here? He might actually. He might actually break 8 million. Right, we have those same 4 links activated. Let's see what Mecha Frieza does on this rotation in terms of the damage, right? We've seen him with King Cold. We've seen him out without King Cold. Again, it's hard to show. Wow, 8.62. Okay. Like, it's not like, we're not really like, oh my god, look at the visibly on display his 900k defense or something like that, right? Like, it's not, his defense is just high enough to definitely work. Now, I guess right there what we saw is something that I could point out potentially as, I was going to say a bit of a negative, at least for his damage. So, Mecha Frieza supers at, what, 9 ki, it looks like? Mecha Frieza can super attack at 9 ki, which is really a worthless ability for him, considering you really want to prioritize getting the 12 ki anyway. And if you're running him on these Wicked Bloodline setups, it's like he's going to be at 12 ki pretty much like, the turn starts, he's at 12 ki. On these Wicked Bloodline setups, that's how it works, right? But that causes his additional to hit a little bit weaker, but additional still is really good because you are getting the 30% defense from his super attack effect, right? I just cannot, like, downplay how good it is these days with how nasty a lot of these bosses are, that you have that 30% defense from your super attack effect. It really matters that much. It truly does. You need to be very careful running, like, characters who, you know, don't have a lot of defensive utility or viability, right? Guard, damage reduction, or dodge or something like that, right? And they're not getting their defense from their super attack effects. Who's the character that just dropped? It's the STR free-to-play Yamcha, right? Where I actually think that STR free-to-play Yamcha, he would have been able to be, I think, quite a character, actually. But he only raises attack for 1 turn on his super attack effect, right? Like, it's like, you know, you start getting up there in defense, and you're getting 100k defense just from that super attack effect on many of those turns, right? So a huge, huge bummer there. Okay, let's see what Mecha Frieza does on this rotation. Again, we do have a bunch of support, but we can go ahead and finish up with this. Let me know what you guys think of Mecha Frieza under 200% leader skill. He's getting to some decent stats, right? Like, he's definitely breaking 500k defense at least in a lot of these turns. You know, putting up, like, consistent 7 million attack stats. Definitely a character that can help out, right? Like, that's the type of free-to-play unit they need to drop. Character, you know, breaking 500k defense while being able to put up, you know, relatively consistent damage, I think. Because he was still above 5 million even without King Cold around, right? So something like that can be fairly solid. So, yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking about this Mecha Frieza. Oh, no, okay, well, I was literally just about to end, but we can't end on the cord. No. Hurry up! No, it's connecting, no! Alright, well, we got a meme right here at the end. Alright, so there we go, yeah. Let me know what you guys think of the Super Strike EZA Mecha Frieza. Considering how easy it is to grind him up, right, and his strength relative to, you know, a lot of the game, honestly, I feel like this Mecha Frieza is probably one of the better free-to-play units in the game. This guy is actually very decent, right? So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.